Hey guys, how are you? My name is Damian Bunting. I live in Portland, Oregon. I'm the father of four beautiful children, married to an amazing wife named Morgan. Um, my hobbies of interest and things that I'm interested in. I am a contributor to Fox News. I do a lot of gun right advocacy and advocacy for accountability throughout our government, with our government legislators, our government leaders. A lot of the things that you guys are seeing on the news in relation to Portland, Oregon, Seattle, some of the more far left leaning areas. I do a lot of commentary on that. And again, um, being someone who is former military, I'm also a disabled veteran, former law enforcement, and working in the current security sector. I have a lot of experience and a lot of views, as you could probably imagine, on the Second Amendment. So I do a lot of Second Amendment advocacy. One of the areas that I'm very prevalent in and very passionate about is advocating for people's personal right to self-defense. And with that, it comes being an instructor with the NRA on firearm safety and certifying people to be able to obtain and get their concealed carry license. So I am a firearms instructor as well. So you can kind of see that my past history being in the military, my past history working in law enforcement as a state constable, as a county corrections officer, a state corrections officer, and now working in the private security sector, how all of that kind of plays into my advocacy in terms of the Second Amendment. This class and what I'm looking to get from this class kind of falls in line with what I'm doing as a contributor to Fox News. It's all about communication. How do you get your point across? How do you get people who, for me specifically, people who don't necessarily agree with my point of view? I try to have an empathetic and sympathetic approach to having conversations, the conversation around gun control, the conversation around firearms ownership, the conversation around the Second Amendment. This is something that is a hot button topic right now in our country. And most people on either side of the equation, either side of the aisle, they're not listening to each other. Most people on either side of this issue, like many issues here in this country, they've dug in. They have their viewpoint, they have their belief, and they're not willing to budge. And I don't think that that bodes well for anyone. If you look at the current state of our world right now, whether you're talking about the situation that's developing in Israel, you talk about the political division that's happening here in this country, most of that stems from people not being willing to listen to the other side. Uh, the great writer Eckhart Tolle has a statement where he says, "Seek first to understand, only then to be understood." And I've actually tried to pattern my life after that statement. I try very hard to see the other side. I think that, again, being empathetic to other people's point of view is the only way that we can have discourse and dialogue that can actually lead to some sort of real change. So, currently, after this class, I have approximately 2 8-week semesters left before I'll finish my degree. My goal and what I want to do with my degree, which would be in strategic communication and aviation and also social science. I'm doing an interdisciplinary degree. My goal with what I want to do with that is to put everything that I'm doing right now together. I really enjoy the aspect of crafting messages. I think that for me specifically, in terms of the Second Amendment, in terms of gun advocacy, I feel that the people that have come before me have done a really horrible job of getting out the understanding of what the Second Amendment is about, what it stands for, the importance of it to our country. Strategic communications, public relations, crafting messages to me is so important. And what I would love to do is put my law enforcement, my security, and my advocacy and wrap that all into one ball and be able to speak for people, whether that's politicians, whether that's companies, or whether that's in a form of a nonprofit, being able to craft those messages and bring people to the table that historically have been at odds with each other.